Morning or after. Let's do that. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, one and all. Welcome, Akwaaba, to today's Sunday session. 45 minutes will go like that. Will go quickly. So that's how I feel like the year's going. Can't believe we are already in May. And the good thing about May is that we've got, if you're in the UK, a May bank holiday weekend, even if it is a bit cold and raining. Welcome to D-Man. Did you make it out this morning? I haven't been on the socials. And did you make it out for your run? If so, did you get caught in the rain? Hope you didn't. Akwaaba to Queen P. Got to check out your video to see where you went this past week with your steps. Been a bit slack this week, so I'm hoping that I'll be inspired to get some steps in over the next couple of days of a long weekend. But yeah, today we are going to be focusing on the breath, really trying to bring awareness to the breath. I'll be talking a little bit about it, so it might feel like a bit of a slower practice, but yeah, if you can really start to tune into your breath, whether you're a walker, a runner, a cyclist, if you have anxiety or stress, trying to incorporate breathing exercises into your daily routine is something that I found beneficial myself, and I'd love to share that with you guys today. It's going to be a bit of a quiet one potentially. I know she's got skills. I've got a tournament on, so some of the she's got skills team won't be joining us. I hope the tournament goes well. I think they're down in Shoreditch. Nice one, D-Man. Got in before the rain arrived. Cool. All right, I'm going to get cracking. So I'm going to move on to the mat. If you've got any water, feel free to keep it to one side. If it's your first time joining Akwaaba Yoga, again, welcome. Again, let's always listen to your breath. So listen to your body. Don't overdo it. Now, whilst we're doing breathing exercises today, or to be added focus, if you are menstruating, if you're pregnant, if you've got any high blood pressure, if you're just eating, which I hope you haven't before a yoga session, you might find these a bit tricky. So I say listen rather than try to join in with some of the breathing exercises we're going through. And if you are listening, you can always, at any point, come into child's pose. So that's what we're going to start. So I'm going to start in child's pose, so everyone knows the position to go to, whether your body's telling you to slow down a little bit or whether doing a certain breathing exercise isn't quite for you. So let's come down onto the mat. We've got knees apart, feet together. Let's come into this resting pose with our hands in front of our bodies. The palms on the floor. Your forehead is coming towards the mat. It doesn't have to touch the mat. But if your forehead does reach the mat, just start to move the head from side to side. You should massage out through the frontal lobe, the front of the skull. Close your eyes here. Maybe start to also shift your hips ever so slightly from left to right. As you start to come into any tightness in the hip area. Let's take a deep inhale in through the nose. And exhale out through the mouth. So feel as if you're fogging up a window on a cold morning. Again, inhale in. And exhale out. Let's do that again. And as you inhale, really take the breath into your belly. So we're not breathing from the chest, we're breathing deep to the belly. The belly's expanded. And exhale. The belly contracts. You're putting your navel to your spine as the breath leaves through your mouth. Let's go for one more. Deep inhale in. Again, breathe into the belly. Feel your belly expanding, your ribs expanding. And exhale to release. When I come into our first conscious breath, it's Ujjayi. Ujjayi breath is what we commonly use throughout the practice. So inhale in through the nose and exhale out through the nose.
Just nice, gentle, easy breathing in and out through the nose. And then so you're in your Ujjayi breath. To start to come to restriction in the back of the throat. As you come to the restriction, this is the first of 3 locks I'll talk through. Jalandhara lock, throat lock. So you're inhaling and exhaling through your nose with a slight restriction in the back of the throat. And in doing so, you're creating a whisper-like sound in the room. It's very oceanic. Remember, try and breathe from your belly. As you're here in child's pose, and as we're in Ujjayi, we're just feeling nice and relaxed. Our shoulders are soft, we're not gripping onto the mat. On the next inhale, let's press up and come into our tabletop position. So our hands are stacked underneath our shoulders, our knees are underneath our hips, our feet are hip distance apart. We can come into a few cat and cows. So on the inhale, let's take the belly down, our gaze goes up towards the front diagonal. Create space in the front of the chest. On the exhale, press the hands to the mat, draw the navel into the spine, and the chin goes to the chest for angry cat. Let's reverse it out. Inhale to come up, and exhale, draw the belly in. As you're drawing the belly in, we're coming into a belly lock. What we know as Uddiyana Bandha. Let's reverse it out again. So release the lock. Inhale to take the belly down towards the mat. Our gaze goes up towards the front diagonal. Exhale, press the hands to the mat. As we take our chin to our chest, again, we'll come into our throat lock. Jalandhara Bandha. Whilst at the same time, coming into our belly lock of Uddiyana Bandha. Let's go for one more. Inhale to go up. And exhale to come back. Creating space in between the shoulder blades. And on the next breath, just release. Come into a neutral position. I'm going to just rock forwards and back. Keep the hands where they are. We're just warming up the wrists here. So you're taking your shoulders probably beyond the wrists if it's comfortable for you. Just rocking forwards and back. And let's come back into a neutral position. Let's place our right hand in the center of the mat. So we're going to take our left leg, just start to press the left leg back and come up high into the left toes. So the left leg is straight. We're going to drop onto the left heel and come into this modified side plank. Start to lift up through that left arm, taking the arm up towards the ceiling. The gaze up towards the left hand. Or maybe take your gaze down to mat. Let your neck just be heavy. Just open up the body as if it's a Sunday morning. I suppose it's Sunday afternoon. Shut and chest up towards the sky. And on the exhale, let's start to take that left arm and thread it just behind the right elbow. We're still keeping up off the floor. And on inhale, going to open up again. And on the exhale, on that left arm's coming down again behind the right elbow. Inhale to come up. And come down for one more time. And exhale. Left arm's going back up towards the ceiling. And let's bring that left hand back down towards the mat. And we're going to take the other side. So this time, the right leg is going back towards the back of the room. The right heel's pointing towards the back. You're high on the right toes, and let's start to drop onto that right heel. So now the right side of the foot is flat on the mat. So I'm going to lift up that right arm up towards the ceiling. Shining our chest over towards the right side of the room. Take a deep inhale in. Make him to a slight back bend here. And on the exhale, we're going to just thread that right arm behind the left elbow. Take your gaze over towards the left side. On the inhale, come back up. And exhale, slowly come down. So constantly move with your breath. Inhale, we're coming up. Exhale, we're gauging through our belly. Turn on the Uddiyana Bandha. Inhale to come up for one more. And exhale, release. Releasing that right hand back down towards the mat. Let's press up. Come on to the toes. We're going to stretch out the toes. Start to just bring a gentle stretch to the quads. So let's place our hands on our thighs. And on the inhale, going to just lean back until we feel stretch through the front of the body. Again, engage through the belly. And exhale to come back. Let's take 3 more of those. Inhale to come back. Exhale to come back up straight. As you're coming back, just notice if you're, again, just collapsing to really protect your lower back. That's where we're turning on engagement through the front of the body, through our core. So engage your Uddiyana Bandha, our belly lock. We're drawing our navel to our spine. And exhale to come back up. Turn and face the camera. Come into a comfortable seated position. Maybe on the knees. Or into a cross-legged position. If you've got a block or a book, feel free to sit on a block or book. We're going to come into Nadi Shodhana, which is alternate nostril breathing. It's a breathing exercise that we've done before. This is a really good breathing exercise, I find, to start the day. It's great to bring balance to the left and the right side of our body. And as we're taking in extra oxygen, it really helps our blood circulation. Adjusting my headphone. So I'm going to start by even lifting up your right hand or your left hand. I'm going to use the right hand this occasion. And just hover the right thumb over the right nostril. And take your 2-piece fingers, hover it over your left nostril. Take a deep breath in. And exhale out. Let's press down with our right thumb on our right nostril. I'm going to take a deep breath in for the left nostril. Hold the breath at the top. Press down with your 2-piece fingers to the left nostril. Release the right thumb off the right nostril and let the air come out through your right nostril. Inhale for the right nostril. Press down with the thumb on the right nostril. Holding the breath, release your 2-piece fingers from your left nostril and exhale out through the left. Inhale in through the left. Press down with 2-piece fingers on the left nostril. Release the right thumb for the right nostril and exhale out through the right. Again, inhale in through the right. Close the right nostril. Open the left nostril. Exhale out through the left. So repeat that cycle, left to right, just 3 more times at your own pace. I've got 2 more on my side. On the inhale, so you can sit a bit taller through the spine. And on the exhale, soften into the shoulders. Probably got one more. I've got one more to go. Final cycle. And release. Shake out through the arms. Maybe move the head from left to right. So I spoke about our bandhas, our locks. So the throat lock, known as the Jalandhara Bandha, our belly lock, our Uddiyana Bandha, and we've got our Mula, which is when we engage the perineum, which is the interesting spot between the anus and the genital glands, or the genital region. When we to engage Mula Bandha, pictures obviously if you need to go to the toilet and you're really desperate, you can't get to the toilet in time, so you're engaging that muscle down there to stop yourself from releasing too soon, if I can say that. Our belly lock. I lift up the belly for this, my t-shirt for this. This is where we are drawing in our navel, so bringing the navel to the spine and up. So again, in and up. So you're exposing your ribs. Even if you can just see a millimeter of your ribs, you're exposing your ribs, and we're holding, engaging that lock, feeling nice and strong. Our Jalandhara, our throat lock. This is where we are. I'll turn around so you can see. With our throat lock, we're bringing our chin just a bit closer towards our chest. So we're pressing onto we've got our thyroid and our parathyroid glands just in the neck here. And bringing the chin slightly down, so you're bringing that restriction to the throat. And when you're locking, when you're engaging all three, Mahabandha, that's what it's called. Imagine you've got a water hose and you've turned a tap off. So the water's engaged, the water's restricted. So we're restricting the airflow, our prana, our breath, our life force, restricting it. And then when we release, that's when the water's coming out. So it's a burst of energy. So it's a really good way to cleanse the body, to improve blood circulation. And also when we're in various poses, again, like the one at the beginning, where I said we're leaning back, the real reason for doing that, apart from stretch out the quads, is there's a massive difference if we're not engaging through the core, and we're just relaxing and dumps the lower back. If we keep doing that, then ultimately we're going to have issues of the lower back. So yeah, those are 3 bandhas. When we finish up, we're going to do another breathing exercise known as Kapalabhati breathing, which is a good breathing exercise to do before we go into a state of meditation, or as I like to do at the end, Shavasana, our resting pose. But let's go for a flow now. So let's come back into our tabletop. So hands on the mat, knees stacked underneath our hips, curl the toes on, and let's press up into our first downward facing dog. So knees off the mat. We're going to walk out through the legs. Just come to your ankles, come to your calves. As I said, the Uddiyana Bandha, our belly lock, is one that maybe even some of us have subconsciously been doing throughout the practice, and makes a huge difference of bringing strength and stability to our bodies. On the inhale, let's come up high into our toes, and let's tiptoe forwards, and let's all meet in our ragdoll at the front of the mat. Let's sway from side to side. Now you may have or may not have seen, there are sometimes you see yoga practitioners, when they go from down the facing dog and they walk, as opposed to walking forward, they might jump. And as they're jumping, they're really looking to engage with the bandhas to create a sense of lightness. and positively using that energy to move forward into forward fold. Just start to roll up one vertebra at a time, keeping the arms heavy, the shoulders be heavy, the arms up by your side. As you come up to the top, start to roll the shoulders back. Let's face our palms forward, standing nice and tall. Again, let's bring awareness to our abdominals, our core. Let's draw our navel in towards our spine. Navel in, navel up to engage our Uddiyana Bandha. Start to bring our chin a bit closer towards the chest. And let's come into our Ujjayi breath. So we're inhaling in through the nose and exhaling through the nose. So that again, inhaling through the nose, exhale through the nose. On the next inhale, let's take our arms up towards the ceiling. So follow the breath, the arms going up. And on an exhale, we'll bend from the hips, engage through the core as we come down into our Uttanasana forward fold. And come to a half lift, hands on the shins, roll the shoulders back, lengthen out through the arms. And on the exhale, release into our forward fold. On the inhale, bend into the knees, drawing through the core, take your arms up towards the ceiling, take your gaze up towards the sky. And on the exhale, let's come with our hands to our chest. So bring the press towards our chest. On the inhale, we're going to go high with the hands, take the prayer up towards the ceiling. On the exhale, we're going to bend from the hips as we come down to our forward fold. This time, we're going to place our hands at the front of the mat. We're going to step that left foot back, drop into that left knee, uncurl the left toes, and come into our runner's lunge, our low lunge. Once you feel stable, start to lift the torso up off that right thigh. And start to lean the body forward. So again, we're bringing awareness to our abdominal area. So drawing navel to spine. Sitting nice and tall the torso, whilst at the same time bringing a stretch to our left hip flexor. If you've let it go, the mind is wandering, which may do. If you're listening to, oh, I'm sprouting out, just come back into your Ujjayi breath. So on the inhale, sitting a little bit taller, and on the exhale, finding a bit more softness. So relaxing through the shoulders. On the next breath, start to press our right shoulder foot into the mat. We're going to lengthen out through that right leg and come up to that right heel. You might have to maneuver your right heel forward. We're going to come to a half splits to stretch out through the right hamstring. So high on the right heel, that right leg straight, we're curling our toes in towards our face. Start to walk the hands forward, just as much as your body will allow. Again, we're long through the neck. The purpose of this exercise, we're not collapsing. We're drawing our chest a bit close towards our right shin. If you want to bring some engagement to your right quad, that'll find a bit more space in our right hamstring to find a bit more room to come into the stretch. On the next breath, start to release and come into a bend into that right knee. This time the right sole of the foot is on the outside of the right edge of the mat. And placing our hands on the inside of our right foot, curling our left toes under and coming up high, lifting that left knee off the mat. And we're just rocking forwards and back. Both feet are facing forwards, both facing 12 o'clock. We're high on our left toes, just rocking forwards and back. As we start to come to lizard pose, which again is a nice opening for the hips. Just drop into that left knee and curl the left toes and just start to again bring the body down towards the mat, Bring the chest towards the mat. There's no competition here if we're not reaching. If you've got a block or a book handy, you can maybe bring your forearms onto the block. Just holding it here for 3 breaths. As we come into the hold, just bring ourselves back to our Ujjayi breathing. Let's go for a couple more times. Now for me, Ujjayi, it's almost like putting petrol in a car. It's how we're able to use our prana, our breath, our life force to flow through the practice. It's also bringing a degree of comfort, focus into the stretch. And start to walk the body back. I'm going to just swing that right leg back. So we find ourselves come back into our tabletop. From here, we're going to curl our toes under, press our hands to the mat as we lift our knees off. Together, we're going to all meet once again in our downward facing dog. So let's take a deep breath in and exhale out. So again, we're coming into that oceanic sound. Maybe you're engaging through your throat lock here, taking your chin towards your chest, soften the shoulders. Just have patience with yourself here. We're holding in some of the poses for a little longer than normal. On the next inhale, come up high on the toes. And it's from here that sometimes you see people jumping forward, engaging through the bandhas. But for us, together, we're going to walk forwards as we take the feet to the front of the mats as we meet in our forward fold. Let's come to our halfway lift, hands on the shins, roll the shoulders back, taking the gaze beyond the front of the mat, we're long in the neck, find the length in the spine. On the exhale, release to our Uttanasana, our forward fold. On the inhale, bend into the knees, take the arms up towards the ceiling. Maybe take your gaze in between your hands at the top, and on the exhale, let's draw the prayer to the center of our chest. On the inhale, we're going to go high with the hands. And on the exhale, bend from the hips as we come down to our forward fold. Let's come to a halfway lift, hands on the shins, roll the shoulders back, long on the neck. And on the exhale, placing the hands at the front of the mat. This time we're lifting that right foot up and stepping that right foot all the way back towards the back of the mat. Dropping down onto that right knee, uncurling the right toes as we find ourselves coming into our runner's lunge on the opposite side. So once you feel grounded, let's lift up off that left thigh. You feel nicely grounded, supported through the left sole of the foot. Maybe place your hands on the left thigh. Again, we're coming into our Uddiyana Bandha. We're engaging for our belly lock, drawing navel to spine. Staying nice and tall to torso. Let's maintain our Ujjayi breathing. So on the inhale, we're lengthening. Exhale, finding a bit more softness to find more of a stretch into our right hip flexor. For this, if you're breathing with me, I may be talking a load of nonsense, but I think we're bringing a lot more awareness to our breath collectively. So I'm going to say great breathing. On our next inhale, we're going to start to come up as we start to lengthen out through that left leg. Maybe start to walk that left leg a bit more forward, Come up high onto the left heel. We're curling our left toes this time towards our face as we come into half splits on the left side. So again, just walk your hands forward as far as your stretch will allow you today. You might be a bit more open on one side than the other. So I'll bring a lot more focus towards to the breath in this class. If you're feeling a little lightheaded or dizzy at any point at all, please do take a moment, come into child's pose. Just collect yourself and just feel relaxed. So again, on this side, on the right, maybe engage through that left quad. We're going to turn on the left quad by drawing the muscle up away from the knee, and that finds a bit more space to come a bit further and more into the bend, into the stretch. On the next inhale, let's start to walk the arms back. Let's start to come into a bend in the left knee. So finding ourselves getting ready for our lizard pose. So just shuffle your left foot over towards the left side of the mat. I'm going to place both hands on the inside of the left foot. I'm going to curl the right toes under. Press our hands into the mat as we lift up off that right knee. So we're high on the right toes. Both feet are facing forwards and we're just rocking forwards and back. Bring a nice stretch into the right hip flexor. When you're ready, just drop down onto the right knee and curl the right toes as you come to our lizard. So again, if you've got the openness and you could bring your elbows all the way down, your forearms all the way down to the mat then, and go for it. Basically, let's all go towards our, edge. It's a common phrase I hear at the yoga studio I used to go to, the yoga edge pre-lockdown. So you go into the point, not of discomfort, but where you can really feel yourself coming into the stretch and just see where you're feeling it in your body. Just take your breath to that area. So if you're feeling it in the right hip flexor, consciously take your breath in through your nose into that area. Be mindful of your left knee here, particularly if you've got any knee pains. If you are experiencing any pain, then just start to lift up a little bit. So you're maintaining the stretch, but without the discomfort. Let's all start to lift out. So we're walking the hands back. We're going to swing that left leg back this time. So we find ourselves come back into our tabletop. We're going to curl the toes under, press our hands to the mat. We're going to find ourselves coming back into our downward facing dog. Let's take a deep breath in and exhale out. On the next breath, start to lift up through the right leg. So it's parallel with the mat, curling our right toes in towards our face. And on the exhale, we're drawing our knee through the body as we go knee to nose. And then as graciously or as ungraciously as it may be, pressing that right foot, sole of the right foot pressing down into the mat. So we find ourselves coming to our crescent lunge or high lunge. So lift the torso up off the right thigh. Maintain that bend in that right knee. By pressing through that left leg, through that left heel, towards the back of the room or high on the left toes. Once you're ready, start to lift the arms up towards the ceiling. So again, nicely engage through our core here. On the inhale, I'm going to lengthen up with the arms, and on the exhale, I'm going to twist over towards the right side. So the right arm goes back and the left arm goes forward. The palms of our hands are facing the right side of the room. On the inhale, let's take the hands back towards center. And on the exhale, for Ujjayi breath, let's move with the breath. Let's twist over towards the right side. On the inhale, we're coming back towards center. And on the exhale, let's twist. On the next inhale, I'm going to open up into Warrior Two. The right arm goes forward, left arm goes back. On the inhale, flip the right palm over. And on the exhale, start to come to reverse warrior, taking our left hand towards our left hip. And then let's cartwheel the hands down towards the front of the mat. Come up high into the left toes. I'm going to step that right foot all the way back to meet the left. So give you a couple of seconds. Let's rock forwards and back on the toes. Together, we're all in our high plank here. Going to rock forwards into the toes, bend into the elbows for a low plank. Feel free to take the modification. We're dropping the knees down. Press through the toes and come up into our upward facing dog. Drawing our elbows in towards our ribs. Maybe our knees up off the mat. And on the exhale, pressing our hands to the mat. As we come and together we all meet in our downward facing dog. Take a breath in and exhale out. Let's take the same flow on the other side. So I'm going to start by just shifting my right foot a bit more towards center at the back of the mat. I'm high on the back toes, getting ready to lift the left leg so it's parallel to the mat. So ready, I'm high on the right toes, my heels on the mat. And together, let's start to draw that left knee all the way through the body. So we go knee to nose. And then we're stepping that left foot at the front of the mat. We're high on the right toes. Once we're nice and grounded, maintain that bend in that left knee as we lift up, as we come up into our crescent lunge. Taking the arms towards the ceiling. Just hold it there for a couple of breaths. Now, if at any point you want to take the modification, feel free to drop onto that right knee. Still taking the arms up towards the ceiling. So on the inhale, we're lengthening. And on the exhale, let's come to the twist. So right arm goes forward this time. Whoops, left arm goes back. And on the inhale, the arms go back towards center and up towards the sky. Take a deep breath in. And on the exhale, come to the twist. Again, let's flow with the breath. Inhale, the arms go high. And come to the twist one more time. Right arm goes back. Right arm goes forward, sorry. Left arm goes back. On next breath, we're dropping onto that right heel as we're opening up for our Warrior Two. So the right foot is pointing out towards 2 o'clock. Left foot is pointing forwards. Left arm goes forward. Right arm goes back. Let's take a deep breath in here. And exhale out. On the next inhale, let's flip that left palm over and come to reverse warrior. The right hand maybe goes towards the right hip. So your gaze up towards the left hand or maybe down towards the mat. Keep your right knee here. And on the exhale, we're going to cartwheel the hands down towards the front of the mat. Spin, so we're coming up high on the right toes. And then just jump that left foot to meet the right foot at the back of the mat. So we're all meeting together in high plank. We're going to rock forwards and back on the toes. On the next rock forwards, again, feel free to take the modification by dropping onto the knees. Or come straight down to the low plank, tucking our elbows in towards the ribs. It's going to press through and come into our upward facing dog. Shining our chest through our arms, and on the exhale, press our hands to the mat, curl the toes under. as we meet once again in our downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in and exhale out. Let's jump or step towards the front of the mat. Slowly start to bend to the knees, maybe the heels lift up off the mat, taking our bum towards our heels, and just rock back onto your bum. Lengthen the legs out in front of ourselves, just give them a shake, maybe give them a gentle massage, taking your hands into fists and gently massaging through your quads. Work your hands as far as you can down towards your legs. Want to come into a seated forward fold here, both feet facing forward. So sit high on the glutes and the buttocks. On the inhale, let's take the arms up towards the ceiling. Draw in for your lower belly to find some room, and on the exhale, start to bend from the hips. So that the hands be heavy. Let gravity take control here. Let your head flop forward. Let's come to the bend. Now, whilst the torso is heavy and loose, really bring some engagement to your toes. Curl your toes in towards your face. Maybe engage through the quads. And if you do want to add a bit of resistance, maybe take each hand either side of either the thigh or the calf. And just use that to anchor the body forward to come more into the stretch. If you can reach the feet, the soles of the feet, then take your hands onto the underside of the feet. Inhale to lengthen up, exhale to come more into the fold. So you're one of those variations. You're either heavy with the torso, or using your hands as resistance against the outside of the thighs, the calves, or the feet to come into the pose. And on the next breath, release. I can give the legs a shake out. We're going to come into a reverse tabletop. So placing our hands either side of our bums. Start to draw your heels a bit close towards your bum. So now your knees are starting to lift up off the mat. So you're high on your heels. We're going to use the engagement of our hands, pressing our hands to the mat to start to lift our bums off the mat. And we'll aim to stack our knees above our ankles. Start to draw your hips up towards the ceiling and just go to your edge. Go to the point where you're bringing engagement and you can feel a stretch. Bring some awareness to your glutes. So turn your glutes by firing them up. So press your glutes together. And on the exhale, start to bring the bum back down towards the mat. I'm going to go for one more reverse tabletop. So when you're ready, on the inhale, start to lift up from the hips. It feels as if someone's got a rope and they're lifting you up from the sky. The rope is tied around your lower back. And then drawing your hips up towards the ceiling. You can almost rest a cup of tea on your belly here. And then start to release back down. Just come towards facing the camera once more. Again, either come onto the knees or into a seated position. We're going to finish up by coming into Kapalabhati. Kapalabhati is another pranayama. As I said, it's a real good one for doing just before you go into if you're going to try meditation or do a bit of meditation. It is an interesting one. So skull shining. Lift up the t-shirt 60
attitude of the belly. So if it's the first time you're doing it, we're going to do it nice and slow. And we're going for a passive inhale. So it's a passive inhale. So our focus here is exhaling. So it's almost like, say if you've got a basketball and you're bouncing the basketball against the floor, your focus is really on pushing the basketball down, and you're letting the natural bounce bring the ball back up. And that natural bounce with Kapalabhati is the inhale. So it's a series of, I'm going to say, forced exhales. I'm going to do it for a count of 30. So maybe watch and listen for the first one. So I'm going to come into forced is an interesting word to use, because by force, we're not scrunching up the face, we're not tensing the arms and the hands. We're still relaxed through the body. Let's start by inhaling in through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. Take a deep inhale in and exhale out. And as we're exhaling through the nose, and we're just using the belly just to create that basketball effect as we're pushing that basketball against the floor. And it's a passive inhale. So try that again. So again, be mindful if you are menstruating or you're pregnant or you've got high blood pressure. There are various do's and don'ts with this one. And the aim isn't to go too fast. So definitely if you're a beginner, I'm going to take it nice and easy. So again, if you want to join in, hands on the shin. We're exhaling through the nose. So first, I'm going to start by taking a deep breath in. And exhale out. Take a deep breath in. And exhale. And release. I'll stop to there because I noticed I was going a bit too quick. This is a great breathing exercise to practice. It's good, again, for your blood circulation. It's good for rinsing out your digestive organs. And also, like I said at the beginning, it's a great one to practice just before you come into a restful pose, which is what we're going to do now. I'm going to come into Shavasana. So turn in, come to line on your backs. So lengthen out your legs at the front of the mat. Start to bring your back down towards the mat. Just close your eyes, let your arms flop out either side. Take a deep breath in through the nose. And exhale through the mouth. Let's take 2 more. We're going to hold at the top, so take a deep breath in. Hold. And exhale out. Yes, leaving your belly, come up through your lungs. Let's go for 1 more. Inhale in. Belly fills up and hold. And release. Let's come to Shavasana for a few breaths. Feel free to stay in Shavasana for as long as you might need. I'll start to bring some movement to the hands and the feet. To massage the back of the head this time by shaking the head from left to right. Just draw our knees into our chest. Bring our head up towards our knees. Come to a tiny ball. Just walk forwards onto the bum. Together, let's come into a seated position. Let's place our hands in our laps, or bring our prayer into the center of our chest. Close your eyes. Okay, give thanks for that life force, our breath, our prana, which carries us throughout the day. So at different points during the coming week, just again, consciously become aware of how you're breathing. If you're in a state of anxiety or stress, just know that you can use your breath to slow yourself down, slow your heartbeat down, to come into a sense of calmness. Just take your prayer towards the center of your forehead. And thank you for walking up and turning up. Nice one, guys. No, I went over today, so apologies for the time. 5 minutes over. It's a bit of a different one today. Yeah, breathing exercises are interesting. I might do a standalone video on some of those ones, Kapalabhati in particular. It's it's an interesting one to teach in this sort of environment. But I hope it's the first time I've done any sort of breathing exercises and really focused on it, incorporated within a practice. But I hope it's giving you an eye opener, and there's interest. And I did speak a lot about the bandhas, the locks, which are instrumental in how we move and navigate, and how we use the energy, how we allow energy to flow through our bodies. Quite often we get energies trapped. And just engage in your locks, whether it's your throat, your belly, your root lock. Engage them and releasing is a good way to let stuff go, let stuff out. But anyway, I'm still guessing. It's 1:22. Hope you guys enjoyed. Again, do hit me up with any feedback. There's a bit more talking in this one, I think. Let me know if that worked. Cheers, D-man. Any extras for Achilles tendon? Achilles, yeah, cool. I can come back to you separately on that, D-man. If you are looking at your Achilles, a good one is when you're in your down dog, just bring your one foot a bit more towards center. Say lift up your right foot and just use the gap in between the big toe and the second toe. Just bring it down, just massage out your Achilles. So you might be high on your toes, but start to draw your heel a bit close towards the mat. And use your right foot, just to press down. Just help you come into the stretch. You can repeat that again on the other side. Just hold into that stretch. But yeah, if I think of anything else, I'll let you know. Have a great week, guys. Like, share, subscribe, comment, and next week we're back with a flow. Have a great week. Enjoy the bank holiday weekend, and I will see you next week Sunday. God bless. Take care. Bye bye.